Welcome to Tampa Yugioh and the second episode of our new show, Resolving the Chain. And hopefully the last episode that the video quality looks so crappy here on my end. I actually finally ordered a decent webcam instead of using my phone's Zoom app to record these. But zooming in with me is Nicolas Ortiz, who you may know, Dallas, YCS Dallas, top four, one of the last events we got to play in person.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah, man. So Nick, tell everybody who you are. Give us a quick rundown of kind of your history of the game.
Yeah, sure. I'm Nicolas Ortiz. I've been playing the game since I guess like third grade, probably like 7 or 8 years old. Went to my first regional at like 11 or 12. I was just stuck with the game ever since. Got kind of stubborn. I didn't want to quit it. And I've just been enjoying the ride. COVID's been kind of putting a damper on that, but doing my best to keep trying to play the game despite that. And I saw the first episode of this series, and I like immediately texted John. I was like, "Yo, this is a really cool idea. I really like this. I like the what it's based off of, the original show, and this like Yu-Gi-Oh twist to it is just like the best of both worlds." So I'm glad to be on it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being the guest, and I appreciate your good feedback about the show. And I'll take the moment right now. If you guys have any feedback about the show, topics you'd like to see covered, or feedback on the format, definitely leave them in the comments. We love feedback, and I definitely want to make content that people want to watch. So you can do me a favor that way, not only with the algorithm, but with making the show better. So Nick, let's get right into it. Let's start resolving this chain. We got 5 chain links today as well. 3 minutes to run down each of them. The timer will go off when our 3 minutes is up, and we'll springboard right into the next topic.
Sounds
so
good.
Chain link 5 for today is going to be the Remote Duel Invitational that took place over the weekend. We saw Subterror win, kind of taking everybody by surprise. Nick, what did you think? Did you get a chance to watch any of this stream at all?
Yeah. So I saw a pretty significant part of like the latter half of day one, and then I saw pretty much all of top 4. And we had the absolute unit of Guru Dragoon winning. I know that like Guru is like really good with like Numeron network because setting Guru and then flipping it like doesn't count as your summon, but then you can do that with Red Eyes Fusion too. So being able to like activate Red Eyes Fusion without having to worry about Ash because you have like a Fiendus backup is ridiculous. And then just like continuous trap cards are just always good. So it's like, yeah, VFD is cool and all, but like how you doing that when you have a summon limit on field? Same with Dryatron and D Shifter. Like Guru can play D Shifter too. It ends turns, and if you're playing a floodgate deck, ending the turn is exactly what you want to do. So.
Yeah, I took down some notes here. So first of all, Dragoon carried all of the weight. Like I watched so many people just scoop to Dragoon. They'd be like, "How high is your Dragoon's attack? 6,000. Okay, you got it." It's like, and then Dragoon backed up with summon limit is just unbeatable. I don't know how you beat that. Definitely nothing in the main deck of any meta deck beats that. D Shifter in the main deck just ruins everything. I saw he played a gigantic Solemn package, like 3 judgment and like 2 strikes. So nobody was able to play besides the summon limit that restricts that there can only be 1. He even cited Starlight Road. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. I saw when he was shuffling his deck, and I thought that I like saw it wrong.
Yeah, Ghost Stardust, by the way, signed by Greg Abbey.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it's like
if you're gonna play it, might
champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the most impressive thing to me is that it wasn't like he just kind of showed up and happened to stumble his way there. Like he came with a game plan and he beat straight up meta the whole time. Like he beat all Drytron, Virtual World, and Dragon Link from what I could see. Like I didn't see him play like Prank Kids or anything. Like he legit beat the best decks of the format.
Yeah, it was honestly a really good meta call. I mean, just making your opponent pass with D-Shift. Like he went second multiple times in that tournament. And just opening like a turn-ending hand trap, like D-Shifter. I don't know if he played draw, but something like that. And then like when you're on the draw, when your opponent has to pass with your floodgates, that's the best feeling in the world. Like virtual players ending on a Shen maybe against your Guru deck with like Dragoon, like you just win.
Yeah, I think the other thing that was interesting too is like people are ready for Eldritch but I don't think they're quite ready for Guru in the same way. Like people have kind of forgotten how good Guru was. I can't count the number of times I saw people reading his cards or like falling right into really obvious traps.
Hmm.
Plus, you got Guru's like Book of Moon effect, and we know Book of Moon's good right now. So, I mean, it was a good meta call. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
All right, there's our timer. Let's move on to the next topic. So it's Bandless season, ladies and gentlemen. We're probably going to be getting a new one soon. Everybody's got their predictions for what they want to see hit. Those are the wish list things. But realistically, Nick, what do you think is going to get hit?
So in terms of what I think is going to get hit, I think VFD is gone. I'm sorry, I can't. Like I thought that card was gonna go out last format, and I understand why they didn't. But like VFD is just like a ridiculous card. We're at the point like floodgate quick effects are getting way too out of hand. We've had this, we've had Utopic Zexal, and like Utopic Zexal I think is fine, but Virtual being able to summon like two VFDs and then being able to have a trap to like stop any form of like negation towards this VFD is ridiculous. But I think that card has to go. Uh, for anything else, like maybe a Ben 10 hit, maybe like personally, I would I want Union Carrier to be gone. I would get rid of that card, and I think like you can put like a Ben 10 to 2 and deal with that. But I think if you, with those two hits, I don't think anything else needs to get hit in this list. I think other than that, like the format's pretty healthy.
Yeah, I think maybe I obviously VFD has to go. Like that card has been it's just always ripe for abuse. Every new archetype that comes out, everybody's like, "Hey, can this make level 9s?" And like Dino used it for a long time. Like even like Zephyra uses it. Like it's just like
Yeah,
there's just so much stuff that can use it that doesn't need to, and it really is cancerous. And there's so many things now that can just play around any attempt to out it. As far as Ben 10, I mean, I think hitting Ben 10 to 1 is very fair because I think like at that point the loop gets a little weaker. A DD Crow on Ben 10 can kind of ruin your day. You can do you can still search it with Cyber Petite. You got 3 Cyber Petites, you got 3 Manju, you got 3 of Alpha Thuban, you got 3 Prep. You're still going to see Ben 10 every single game, but the counterplay gets a little bit easier
yeah.
if it's at 1. So I could really see it doing that. I don't think you need to ban it.
Hmm.
I think 1 makes the deck fair. And honestly, if VFD gets hit at the same time, then we have basically the same meta, but the power level just comes down a little bit.
Hmm.
And I
And
think that's what everybody's after.
another thing to note about Benton going to 1 is that makes Natasha a lot more fair also. You know, being able to, I doubt they would even run Natasha at that point because you can only use the take effect once. That's what I think is the truly upsetting part about Dryatron is that they can make this Herald of Ultimate list like a million negate board, but like that's what Dark Ruler is for. But the problem is on the clapback, when they have like Natasha to literally take your entire field and then still kill you through it, it is like mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, Natasha. I don't think anybody saw Natasha coming the way that it
Yeah,
has. Like that was
I
a
didn't either.
garbage tier card. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I thought it was
now I
bad at
mean,
first.
now it's the scariest card in like one of the best decks in the game.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Chainlink 3. You and I have kind of gone back and forth on the new pot of
Mhm.
prosperity. And I feel like I've kind of been a big advocate for that card over the last week, especially like in my play testing and stuff. But where do you think it ranks in terms of like the big four? I'm excluding Pot of Greed from this because it's been banned
Yeah.
for 15 years, but like Desires, Prosperity, Extravagance, Duality. Where do you rank Prosperity?
So I like to start by saying that I know it's already February, but I think I can confidently say that Pot of Prosperity might be the strongest card of 2021. I just don't think everyone's realized that yet. I think in terms of like the most powerful pot card of those four, some people will argue with me and say like Desires is better because it's a +1. I think Prosperity is actually just at the top there. Like, sure, you're getting a +1 off that Desires, but think of it this way with Prosperity, right? You resolve Prosperity, you're looking at 11 cards out of your deck. Like, you will not brick if you see 11 cards. Not to mention, like in the post board, like you're gonna see your unsearchable side cards. Like if you think like floodgates are annoying, talk about a deck with like Prosperity in it. And then not to mention like banishing 3 just isn't that bad. It's just a duality that's just better. So like I think people are going to realize how good this card is, and unless if your deck summons like 9 or 10 cards out of the extra deck your turn 1, you should be playing 3 copies of Product Prosperity. Every single deck I've been testing online right now has been playing 3 Prosperity, and I haven't regretted it because you just don't brick anymore.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are sleeping on the fact that you don't have to banish 6; you can banish 3, and like we talked about how duality kind of became one of those staple cards in the game, where even stuff like Black Wings that want a special summon every turn we're still playing 3 copies of duality, or even just 1 when it got limited. Like that, and that obviously that was back like 10 years ago. I think we're in a similar situation now, where 3 cards out of your extra deck is nothing. Like I've been playing Tri Brigade Lyra Lusk. You know, my extra deck is tight. Like there's not a single card that I would want to just cut out of that 15 card extra deck, but I can very easily find 3 that I want to banish. And there's so much skill involved of like making a read of what your hand has, what you're likely to see based on your deck building, and then making the determination of, okay, I need all 15 of these extra deck cards, but what are the 13th, 14th, and 15th best cards in this extra deck that I can just trash? And if you're playing Caveman Yu-Gi-Oh! Like Subterror, you can just banish 6 every time, and who cares? But yeah, it's a huge boon for back row decks, but I think you're right. I think we're going to see it in every single deck. By the time we hit like the summer, every deck's going to be playing Prosperity.
Yeah, and Extravagance made us think about this way a little bit, but people are really beginning to see the extra deck as a lot more of like a tangible resource now with something like Prosperity, where you're having to weigh, it's like, what are the chances I'm going to be using these 3 cards in this game? What are the chances that I will be drawing some auto win card, that I'll get like summon limit off of this, or I don't know, like Royal Tribute if you're playing Gravekeeper. There's like these ridiculous cards, Lightning Storm if you're going second. And I think people are going to realize very, very quickly how powerful of a card this is.
Yeah, good timing. Let's go on to Chainlink 2. So over the past couple of weeks, we've seen a couple of new archetypes be announced from what is it called? D-Bag, Ancient Guardians, dual deck building pack, Ancient Guardians.
Yes.
D-Bag, which has kind of been the overshadowed the new archetypes, if anything. So we got Abyss that I think we can both kind of agree is awesome. But then we've got Doremichords, which is, I think, one of the worst decks of all time, but especially 2021. So let me just, I've kind of prepared a little like overview of how bad this is. So let me just kind of go. So their levels and scales are inverted. That's cute. You know, like they have like the 1 through 8, both directions. That's cute. They have a level 1 Stratos, so maybe they can play 1 for 1. They've got a level 5 Stratos for spells and traps. They got a level 4 that's a Zafrath. But like their scale effects are just awful. Like they're just like pendulum cards need to function as good continuous spell cards, and these do not. These are like 2005 effects, like half the time. Well, oh no, sorry, those are their effects on the field. Their scale effects would have been really good in 2015 when everybody was terrified of time space trap hole on your pendulum scale. But we're way beyond that at this point. We've seen like, what's it called? Like we've seen the pendulum magicians of like 2017. We've seen like ridiculous Triff combos. Like we're way beyond this crap. Why are they printing these cards in 2021? Attack modification, battle protection, destruction, redirection. What is this crap? Like, have fun in Duel Links, guys. Like in 3 years when they finally add link or pendulums to Duel Links, these will be great in Duel Links. But right now, they're just dragging down an otherwise good set.
Yeah, I think of like, I compare these pendulum scales, the pendulum scale effects to like Zafrath, right? You think of Zafrath, and it's just like, put any Zephyr into your extra deck, and it becomes that scale. And then I think of a deck like Magispectors. It's like they didn't even have pendulum effects, and they have better static effects than what these pendulum gives do. Yeah. Like Magispectors don't die, and they don't even have pendulum scales. And like I think of like completely pointless status effects, like Dynamists. I think Dynamists are better than this deck. Like Dynamists at least can make infinity, right? They have a trap that sets the scales for them, right? Like I was reading this, and then every single time when I saw they had the exact same scale effect, I was like, this is actually horrible. Like, I don't know why they keep making terrible pendulum archetypes. Like, I hate the pendulum mechanic as much as the next guy. Okay, but like, you can't make like a deck that rivals War Rocks in terms of like horrible archetypes. Like, we're getting there with this one.
Oh, but Nick, we're only talking about the monster effects. What about the spell and trap support? They have a worse Ojama Delta Hurricane. They have
I read their counter trap.
Yeah, the counter trap would be good again in 2015.
Yeah.
But then there's another trap that's like destroy one card on the field, maybe. And it's like, what are these effects? If you have like 7 guys on the field, you get to destroy one card, maybe. Come on.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually crazy. All right. We're on the last link of the chain. Let's talk kind of kitchen table Yu-Gi-Oh. We've been playing some tournaments at people's houses. We've been doing kind of a different format from what we normally would see at locals. We've been doing a double elimination format. What do you think of that? Have you been enjoying that kind of format?
Yeah. For starters, I enjoy just playing Yu-Gi-Oh with other people in person. It's like, even if it's just like at someone's house and you're just playing your friends with like even like a small thing at stake, right? Just like, I don't know, like a split pot or whatever. Just playing with that risk involved is just it's a breath of fresh air. In terms of formats, I'm really upset that Yu-Gi-Oh really only does Swiss, right? It's like double elimination is a perfect format for small tournaments. Like why Konami does Swiss with like 16 people or less than 6 people is mind-boggling to me. And I want that to be explored some more. Because I know that like the fighting game community does like double elim, and it works out fine. I mean, yeah, sure, technically you can lose 2 matches in a row and you're out of the tournament, but in a Swiss tournament, that's the same thing, right? If you lose round 1 and 2 in a Swiss tournament, you're not making top, right? You're gonna play some like pointless matches. At that point, I'd much rather watch other people play. So just I'm really enjoying double elim a lot more than I thought I initially would. And I'm glad that I'm being able to experience that with like people in this community.
Yeah, I think because we've been doing it with 8 people, so it's kind of the perfect format for that, like the perfect size group for a double elim. And I think that like it really gets people like their competitive juices going. I mean, first of all, we're playing for cash pot.
Yeah.
So like, that's already going to get people competitive. But I mean, I think there's kind of an element of you get dropped down to losers early and you really have to step up your game or you're out. You have to win a lot more games to get to that grand finals. And even if you get to grand finals, you've made it that much harder on yourself by losing early on that now you have to beat the bracket reset. So there's kind of, and it ends up being 5 to 6 rounds, the same as the normal locals. So I definitely encourage people to take a cue from like Smash or, Tekken or whatever and try out the losers bracket kind of format for small tourneys. I think you'll be surprised how much fun it is. Another one that we never really see is round robin. Like one of my favorite YouTube videos was the Tournament of Champions that like Super Games did, like back when Omega first dropped and like Pat Hoban was playing like Brilliant Fusion Pendulums. And like Plushfire had just dropped and they did like all the winningest players in Atlanta area did a round robin and like whoever beat the most people won. And Corey McDuffie ended up taking it with Scythe Control, which was awesome. But like, wow. I think that really stretches who is the best player in a group if you can do like a round robin where everybody plays everybody and best record wins out. So those are just kind of some alternate ideas you can try at home while we're all kind of stuck without a locals. But all right, Nick, that resolves the chain. We made it through 5 topics, 3 minutes each. How do you feel about your first episode?
I enjoyed it. I thought this was really fun. It's like the 3 minutes is a perfect amount of time to just like get the information out without going on any like side tangents. I appreciate the pendulum tangent though. That was definitely warranted. But just like compact, condensed information in this format, I really enjoy. So I'm looking forward to future episodes of this.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Do you have anything you want to plug or anything?
Oh, not really. I'm not a huge content creator. Just, I don't know. Add me on Facebook if you see me.
Yeah, okay, cool. Are there any Facebook groups you want people to join? Sky Strikers Anonymous or anything like that?
You act like I'm not an admin in that.
Facebook. Yeah, I know. So it'll be an easy ad if anybody wants to join.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, anyway, Nick, I really appreciate your time. All of you out there in YouTube land, I appreciate your time taking a few minutes to watch Resolving the Chain. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Like I said, give me feedback in the comments. I'll read everyone and try to respond if I can. It's a really small channel. It's really a passion project of mine. So, anytime I can talk Yu-Gi-Oh! and interact with the community, it's a good time. So, Nick, once again, thank you for being on the show, and I'll look forward to having you on again in the future.
Yep. All right.
All right, cool.
Okay. Yeah. The Zoom meeting kept saying it was about to end, so I'm not sure if that's